My name is Mike Melson. We came here last September, and Bill Paxton asked me if I would facilitate this class today because he is in Doddridge preaching there today, and so I was not privy last week to this study, the reading progression, because we were in Stamps and I was helping them down there on last Sunday. So bear with me today, and we're going to study 2 Chronicles 17 through 21. I think we all had sheets for that study, and it deals with the progression of the kings of Judah and Israel. And so that's not a lot of things that we're really comfortable with sometimes because of all these names that nobody can pronounce. And I struggle with that myself. I read the names. I've read this a number of times, and each time I say those names, I get it a little bit different. And at the end of our lesson today, I'm going to have some points and some scriptures that go along with those points. And James has passed out those scriptures. And when we get to that point, I'd like for you to read those scriptures for us. And James is going to bring the microphone to you and let you read those for me. There's about 8 or 10 of them, and we'll go through those pretty quickly. And our primary concern in these 5 chapters is they deal with Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat. He's the 4th king of Judah after Solomon. And of course we know that after Solomon the kingdom was split. Rehoboam became the king of Judah. Jeroboam became the king of Israel in the north. And then the sons of Solomon were Rehoboam, Abijah, Asa, and our current study, Jehoshaphat. Now, I wish that I would be able to tell you a little bit about these men and what their names meant. My wife, years ago, studied with a rabbi here in Texarkana, and he told her at the time that all these names and the words in the Old Testament where their primary focus was, they meant something. And so I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Rehoboam, what does that mean? Well, Abijah, what does that mean? And then we got this simple, the father of a Jehoshaphat, Asa. Well, and then we get this big name, Jehoshaphat. But in chapter 17 of 2 Chronicles, Jehoshaphat became king after Asa died, and he began to solidify his reign. Of course, that would make sense to any of us today if we were all of a sudden promoted to the presidency or the chairmanship of a committee or a company. We would begin to solidify our position, so our position of leadership. So he did that by consulting his advisors, the priests and the princes of the tribes, and he directed that the law of Moses be taken and read all over Judah. Went to all the cities of Judah, and it was pleasing to the people. It pleased nearly all the people. And I don't think I can go into an organization and please all the people today, but it seems like that the majority of the people then were pleased with his preparation. And I can only attribute that maybe to the fact that they were still so traumatized by the split of the kingdom that they needed this impetus, the direction of God in their lives and in the kingdom. And he gathered support from all the princes, the heads of the families and the tribes in Judah. And he gathered together, these men brought to him their valiant warriors, their men of renown. Can you imagine they assembled 1,160,000 men in that little bitty place over there? You've seen the map of Palestine in the southern kingdom. It's not very big, but they assembled 1,160,000 men to support the kingdom and to support Jehoshaphat in his reign. So then he took them all and he dispensed them all throughout the country, put them in fortified cities. He put border border patrols or what, your groups of men on the borders to defend and to support Judah. In this circumstance that he enjoyed so much support, he even impressed the Philistines. Now the Philistines were to the south and to the west, over toward the coast. I think there's still today a whole bunch of them there. But anyway, they were impressed by his circumstances and what he'd done. And they actually sent silver as a tribute over to him. Can you imagine that? These deathly enemies of Israel, the nation of Israel, when God came and brought them into the country, David fought the Philistines his entire reign. Matter of fact, he started his ascendancy with killing their big guy, Goliath, and he had to fight them his whole kingship. But they were so impressed with Jehoshaphat that they brought silver to him. That would be like us maybe collecting up an offering here and taking it to Washington, which I don't think I'm that impressed yet. But anyway, so then there's a little bit of a rub for Jehoshaphat in chapter 18. With all of God's gifted blessings and successes that Jehoshaphat made or gave him, he made an alliance with Ahab in the northern kingdom. And this alliance began, as a lot of things did back when you had kings and queens and princes and whatnot, with a marriage. Because if I was married into this family or this family was married into me, I wouldn't be quite as apt to feel badly about them, or even if I felt badly about them, I'd keep it to myself and I would deal with it. So Jehoshaphat let his son Jehoram marry the daughter of Ahab. And after this arrangement took place, the results were disastrous. And the union brought the destruction of the son, Jehoram. And we'll deal with that, I think, next week in chapter 22:10. And then Ahab sends word to Jehoshaphat and says, hey, come on down here. Now, this come down is, Jerusalem is a mountain. It's Mount Zion. So anywhere there, you got to come down. So he comes down to Samaria, says, come on down here. Let's talk about an alliance that I need. I've got a really vexing problem up here north of me. It's called the Syrians, and I need your help to fight them. And just like today, if we want to seek someone's support or their help or their influence, we invite them to meet with us. We maybe even feed them, which he did. He fed all the Jehoshaphat's entourage. We don't know how many people traveled with him, but you got to know that there was his family and probably a group of soldiers. And Ahab fed them all. Big party. And he finished in this party with the big finale was, I need your help to help me fight these Syrians. Will you come help me? Bring your guys and come help me fight the Syrians. Well, Jehoshaphat was a pretty sharp character. And he said, well, now are there men, prophets of God here who will help us do this? And Ahab says, oh yeah, well, I got prophets. And so he trotted out 400 prophets. And all 400 of these prophets said in one voice, yes, go up and destroy these Syrians. God said it, go up and do that. So I don't know whether Jehoshaphat was that impressed, but in his back of his mind, I think he thought, well, maybe I need another opinion. And after Jehoshaphat in 18:3 makes a statement that the Judeans